The Cold War was a war of silence, a conflict fought not on battlefields, but in laboratories, silos, and shadows. From 1945 to 1991, two superpowers built weapons powerful enough to destroy the planet, yet never fired a single shot in anger. Instead, they competed through technology, fear, and imagination. Each side raced to invent the next device that could outsmart, outfly, or outlast the other. From hydrogen bombs to spy planes, from satellites to submarines, every new invention pushed the limits of science and sanity alike. This is the story of those weapons, the ones that defined an era, kept the peace through terror, and nearly ended civilization by mistake. Today, we'll explain every Cold War weapon, the 6 categories of machines that turned deterrence into an art form and kept humanity balanced on the edge of annihilation.
The hydrogen bomb. The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki ended one war, but started another. When the Soviet Union tested its first nuclear device in 1949, the US responded with something even more terrifying: the hydrogen bomb. Unlike an atomic bomb, which splits atoms, the hydrogen bomb fuses them, the same process that powers the sun. The result? Explosive power measured not in kilotons, but in megatons, millions of tons of TNT. In 1952, the US tested Ivy Mike, the first thermonuclear bomb. It vaporized an entire island in the Pacific. 3 years later, the Soviets detonated their own, and by 1961, they created the Tsar Bomba, the largest explosion in human history. 50 megatons. It shattered windows 900 kilometers away. Its mushroom cloud rose higher than the stratosphere. It was a weapon so powerful that no military purpose remained, only a message: we can do this. The hydrogen bomb turned the Cold War into a new kind of balance, one where survival depended on mutual destruction. The Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, or ICBM. If the hydrogen bomb was the fire, the ICBM was the delivery system. Before missiles, nuclear weapons had to be dropped by bombers, slow, detectable, and vulnerable. But in 1957, the Soviet Union launched the R-7 Semyorka, the world's first ICBM. That same rocket also launched Sputnik, the first satellite, proving that the same technology that reached space could deliver a warhead across the planet. The US responded with Atlas, Titan, and Minuteman missiles, capable of traveling over 10,000 kilometers and striking within minutes. Hidden deep underground in reinforced silos, these missiles sat ready, each one holding a nuclear payload that could level a city. They were programmed for launch on warning, meaning one false radar signal could start Armageddon. The ICBM made war instantaneous. No declarations, no troop movements, just a few keystrokes. It was the perfect paradox, a weapon built never to be used. The Submarine-Launched Ballistic Missile, the silent shadow. If ICBMs were visible power, submarine-launched missiles were invisible fear. Both sides realized that land-based missiles could be destroyed in a first strike, so they turned to the sea. By the 1960s, fleets of nuclear submarines began patrolling the oceans, each carrying dozens of missiles beneath thousands of meters of water. They were undetectable, unstoppable, and always moving. The US deployed Polaris, later Poseidon and Trident missiles, while the Soviets launched the Delta and Typhoon classes, massive submarines with the power to destroy nations from beneath the waves. This created what strategists called the nuclear triad: bombers in the air, missiles on land, and submarines at sea, ensuring that no matter who struck first, both would fall.
For the first time in history, true mutually assured destruction became reality. Peace, paradoxically, was maintained by fear of total loss.
Spy planes and satellites. During the Cold War, knowledge was as powerful as any missile. To predict your enemy's move, you had to see them, even when they tried to hide. In 1956, the U.S. unveiled the U-2 spy plane, capable of flying at 70,000 feet above Soviet defenses. It photographed missile sites, military bases, and nuclear facilities from the edge of space, until one was shot down in 1960, sparking a global crisis. The U-2's successor, the SR-71 Blackbird, became the fastest aircraft ever built. It could fly faster than a bullet and outrun missiles fired at it. Each flight across enemy territory revealed secrets that shaped diplomacy and prevented war. Soon, satellites took over. The Corona program secretly launched hundreds of film-return satellites, dropping capsules of exposed film from orbit for recovery mid-air. Later, digital imaging replaced film, giving both superpowers a constant, unblinking eye in the sky. In the Cold War, seeing became as powerful as shooting.
Psychological and propaganda weapons. Not every weapon exploded. Some aimed at the mind. The US and the Soviet Union both understood that power wasn't just measured in missiles, but in influence, in how people thought, feared, and dreamed. This gave rise to psychological warfare. Radio broadcasts like Radio Free Europe beamed behind the Iron Curtain, and Soviet counter-programming that painted the West as decadent and doomed. Even culture became a battlefield. Films, literature, Olympic Games, and music carried subtle messages of superiority. In this invisible war, the most powerful ammunition was narrative. Propaganda was weaponized science. Psychology turned into strategy. And though no one died from it, it changed the world just as profoundly. The Doomsday Machines, when logic ended. At the height of the Cold War, deterrence became an obsession. If you couldn't stop an attack, what if you could guarantee revenge? This idea led to the ultimate concept, the Doomsday Machine, an automated system that would unleash nuclear retaliation even if the leadership were destroyed. The Soviet Union secretly built one, Perimeter, known in the West as Dead Hand. If it detected nuclear detonations, loss of communication, and specific preset conditions, it could automatically order a massive retaliatory strike, no humans required. It was meant to ensure stability, but in truth, it brought the opposite, a system where a malfunction could mean the end of civilization. By the 1980s, both sides realized that total automation was too dangerous, but by then, the genie was out of the bottle. The weapons had become smarter, and humans more cautious. The Doomsday Machine remains the most haunting symbol of Cold War logic, that peace could only be guaranteed by the promise of mutual destruction.
That was today's video. If you liked the video, leave a like, consider subscribing, and use the comments to suggest a next topic.